So it's quite mild today, and I'm running in shorts and a t-shirt. And I noticed that running season is coming, in the sense that on my Facebook feed there are lots of invitations for running events. Get the early bird for this or that event, pay early and get a discount for, there's the Canberra Fun Run, there's a run for Fred Hollow's run, there's the Goulburn Running Festival, which is the end of this month. There are all sorts of running events coming up. Obviously, coming into spring and summer is a good time to be running. And one of the big running events coming up, I think in September, is the Sydney Marathon. I've seen a lot of promotions on Facebook for that, but I see that, amongst other things, there has been some controversy about it too. Now, the people who are organising the Sydney Marathon are hopeful that they can get it to such a standard that it becomes one of the events of the international marathon calendar, which I think includes Boston, New York, London, some others, I don't know. But there's a calendar of marathons around the world that are sanctioned by the international body, whether it's a marathon body or athletics body or something, that says these are good quality marathon events, good courses that challenge people and blah blah blah, and they bring out all the big names, and the big names bring the crowd and the sponsors' dollars and so on. And all of that is probably true. But there's a but, and there's a big but to that. The big name marathon runners, and this is not a criticism of them, it's just a statement of fact. They're just a bunch of people that come, they run, and they go home. They get or they go off to the next event. They get good sponsors, deals, and they get well looked after and all of that. And there's not a criticism or begrudging them or some disgruntled old bloke having a gripe. It's a statement of fact. That's what happens. But the rest of the crowd, they pay their entry fees for those events, and even the crowd who line the course, they might come to see those elite runners, and they flash past and they've seen them. Then they're there to cheer and support their husband or wife or mother or daughter or whatever it is. Now, the controversy about this Sydney Marathon is that when they first advertised it for the year and started taking people's money and entry fees, it was a case of, well, you paid your money, you registered, your details were recorded, and you got due course you would get your equipment sent to you, your singlet and your bib number and whatever else it is you get, and you turn up on the day and you run. And there are lots of running clubs and groups, from the really hardcore people to the amateurs who have prepared and trained and got their minds ready and were working on doing this event. But the Sydney Marathon organising people suddenly changed the rules and said unless you could meet a half marathon time of a certain time, and I think it was 2 hours and 15 minutes, you were going to be invited to do one of three things. One, you could withdraw from the event at that time. When you were coming to the half marathon point and it was past 2 hours and 15, you would be shepherded into a finishing point and given a half marathon time. You think, oh well, not so bad. You got a half marathon time. That's not what you entered, not what you paid for, not what you trained for, not what you prepared for. Now I'll give you a reason why they did this in a moment. The other option was you could stay in the marathon course, but after a certain time, I think that was 4.5 hours, they would cease to record your time. So if you were 4 hours and 35 minutes or something, you would not get an official time. You'd have the satisfaction of saying you'd run the event, but you'd not be recorded in the official record. Now you might not think, I'd say, well, what does that matter? At least you knew you did it. But I suspect one of the reasons that people do enter those events is so that their achievement can be recorded. And they look for their name, they wait for their email that tells them, much like people do with the park run, they wait for their email to tell them their official time, and they look up the table and they see who finished first and what time, and see how their friends went, people who in their age group and so on. That's part of, I guess, why you enter those events. Now the third option was that they would just give you money back and say, well, thanks very much, but you don't need to run. We don't need you there, we don't want you there. Now the reason the organisers did this thing is because, as I said, they want the Sydney Marathon to become part of the international calendar. And in order to do that, you have to have a speedy course with very few 180-degree turns. I don't know if that's more for the athletes or the blokes and the motorcycles and the cameramen behind, so they don't fall over while they're following the race. So is that a requirement for the runners, or is it a requirement for television? But you have to have a course that's capable of very fast times, and whilst it's good to see for us the fans and supporters of the huge number of people who run in these events, see our friends, relatives, family, whatever it is, plodding along just like I am, that doesn't make us as good as television, as focusing on those speedy front runners who are setting the 2 hour time or something. So there were some very disgruntled people, groups that had said, well, we've got ourselves together we decided we'd enter this event, and we were sort of a bit of a running a giggle group, or running a talk group, whatever it was, and we decided we'd get serious and we'd start training and we'd properly prepare for this event. And now that's been taken away from us, and you could understand their disappointment. Now, I suppose you could argue, well, you don't want that to happen. Train harder and run faster, and you will meet the qualification time. Now, I've run a half marathon distance a few times, never officially, because I don't enter running events. I just run by myself. Except for park run, I don't usually run with other people. I don't have any problem doing that. I just don't do it. But I have, as I said, I've run the half marathon distance. And I think the best time I've done is 2 hours and 9 minutes. Now, well, that's the record according to my Garmin. I think I did it better than that once, but I'm not saying all that to boast. I'm just saying that's what I do. And I didn't just get there by one day deciding